Wishing all of you a very good afternoon and welcome to upGrad's webinar. We're going to be starting in another 2 or 3 minutes, just waiting for a requisite amount of attendees to be present. As soon as they're here, we will begin. Thank you for joining us on a weekend. We will make sure your time is worth invested. And we will begin another 2 or 3 minutes at the most. Meanwhile, if you guys have got any questions at all for Dipanch, who's our guest speaker, I'll be introducing Dipanch in a while. Or if you've got any question for upGrad, please let us know in the Q&A button or the chat box. We are here to address all your concerns, queries, doubts regarding your career in Canada, regarding your higher education in Canada, with our partner, University Canada West, UCW. Also, if you guys know anybody in your friend circle who would be interested in knowing about the Canadian higher education, would be interested in knowing about University Canada West, please ensure you get them on the webinar as well. If you want the registration link again, I could definitely send that for you in the chat box. You can follow that. Sending it to you now. Again, for all of those who are joining in as we speak, wishing all of you a very good afternoon. Welcome to upGrad's webinar on fast forwarding your career in Canada with University Canada West. Super excited for this. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. We'll go in action in about 3 minutes, 3:05, we officially start. Keep your questions ready. Put them down in the chat box if you have any for us. And we'll be thrilled to take them towards the end. So also as a reminder, this is a webinar. A webinar is largely bandwidth intensive. It will take a toll on your net connection. So make sure that your parallel tabs are closed and you pay and you can hear us in an optimum manner and see us in an optimum manner. So just make sure that any of your parallel tabs or activities are halted while the webinar is on. We have students and attendees joining in rapidly. Wishing all of you a very good afternoon. Please make sure that you put in your questions, your doubts, your concerns in the chat box or in the Q&A button below. If you're using Zoom on the phone, you'll have to go to options or more and then choose chat or Q&A button and address all your questions to us for your Canadian aspirations. So I think we'll start another 1 minute. We've got one final minute and then we start. We have a rapidly growing audience here. Would also want everybody else to know that we have attendees here who are both aspiring for UG and PG from across India, who are here to know about a partnership with University Canada West. All right, we're at 3:05 and I think it's a good time to start. Wishing all of you a very good afternoon. Welcome to upGrad's webinar on fast forwarding your Canadian career with University Canada West. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dipanch Singla, who's the Associate Director at UCW, University Canada West. Dipanch, hi, welcome to upGrad. And I look forward to having an insightful, meaningful dialogue with you and look forward to ensuring that we address as many concerns of our learners as we possibly can and give wings to the Canadian aspirations for higher education.
Thank you so much, Praneeth, and good afternoon to everyone out there. And I'm really looking forward to interacting with each one of you We are really excited. University Canada West is really excited for a partnership with upGrad, and we are really looking forward to make this big. So feel free to ask questions. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I think with no further ado, we should ideally start. So here's how the flow is going to be, Dipanch. I'm going to ask you a couple of things which I feel are really important for all our attendees to know. And then you can jump in with your viewpoints, and post that in the second half, we can take specific queries from these attendees themselves. So please ensure that we will follow a first come, first serve. So ensure you've got all your questions and doubts on the Q&A button, so I can take them up with Dipanch one by one as soon as we start taking live Q&A, right? So Dipanch, to begin with, I think I want to know from you, what is the major benefit of Canadian education? As in, why should a learner not look towards Australia or the US or Germany or the UK, but should look towards Canada? What is that one benefit that Canada offers?
No, I think I'm personally very passionate about Canadian education system. Canadian education system is one of the best in the entire world. One of the major benefit, like without a doubt, Canada is one of the most immigrant-friendly country in the world. Like we had COVID, like COVID-19, and so many students were stuck in India. But Canadian education system, Canadian government has provided certain rules and regulation, which was on the benefit of the student. They were giving 2,000 Canadian dollar to every student who was stuck and who was studying. And second, what they were doing is, even if you do online studies, you are still eligible for post-study work permit. So Canada is one of the most immigrant-friendly country in the world. And of course, you would want to get in a country where you're respected, where you are feed inclusive of all the communities there. So I think that's one of the major benefit to study in Canada for sure, that the friendliness. And second benefit, I guess, is the post-study work permit. Like most of the institutes, if you study in Canada, provide post-study work permit up to 3 years. So obviously, if you're going for studies, you would also want to stay there and work and get the right kind of exposure, which is quite easy in Canada because you get a post-study work permit up to 3 years, depending on the programs that you take. And Canadian economy is thriving as we speak. As you know, there are people from all around the world that migrate to Canada and build a possible future with their. So I think these are one of few of the major benefits that certainly helps the student, and that certainly helps even if they want to, like later on, if they believe that they want to stay in Canada, they want to immigrate permanently. That also the path to the immigration, the permanent residency, is also easier as compared to other countries, UK, Australia, and for that matter, even US.
Right. I think in a while, we'll also jump into how fast or how accelerated is that path of completing higher ed to actually start working, to actually start planning their future in Canada, right? So we'll jump into that part shortly. But I think I want to introduce to the attendees here the concept of, when we mention fast forwarding your career in Canada with UCW. So upGrad, as many of you would be well aware, has come up with a pioneering concept that you can actually start your Canadian higher education here in India and then transition to the campus in your year 2 or year 3, thereby making sure that your degree is more affordable, thereby ensuring that you can ease into the academic rigor of what it means to study in Canada, but also ensuring that your Canadian degree is planned in a very democratized manner. Whether you want to take up a 2+2 setup or a 1+3 setting, you can actually choose how affordable can you make that degree. So like Dipanch mentioned, he said one of the biggest benefits of studying in Canada is that it's very immigrant friendly, plus gets you a post-study work visa for 3 years. Through the upGrads program with UCW, we are ensuring that you get all of those benefits while studying in Canada at half the price. half of your academic fees almost brought down to a negligible marginal price. That's what we are here to speak about with Dipanch, plus the other degrees that UCW has to offer. So Dipanch, can you explain to the attendees a little bit more about our BBA BCom program with UCW? And what do you think is something that is the most attractive for these students who are planning their bachelor's in Canada?
100%. I think I'll just let audience know where UCW is located. UCW is located in downtown Vancouver. Now, Vancouver is one of the most livable city in the world. Even if you see the ranking, it's the third most livable city in the world. And second, because of our location, because it's downtown area, students are able to build their network. As you know, the job opportunities, no, really job portal works, right? You need to have network, you need to have that particular reference. And that's what UCW provides because of that strategic location that we are in. We also recently moved to a new campus, Vancouver House, which is one of the biggest real estate development in the history of Vancouver in the last 10 years. So infrastructure-wise, location-wise, we are quite up there. We are very, very solid. Now, speaking about the UG program that we have a BBA program. It's a 4-year program. As you know, in North America, most of the bachelor's degree, unlike India, it's 4 years instead of 3 years. But one of the benefit of studying at UCW is that you can expedite, right? You can shorten your, like, for example, a 4-year degree, you can complete in 2.5 years. And now with a very innovative partnership with upGrad, you have the opportunity to actually do some part of it here in India. So what is the benefit? Like most of the parents, like I have met a lot of parents, especially for the student who are studying in class 12, like they're very hesitant. They don't know if the student will adapt because students are quite young, right? At that particular stage. But here at upGrad, you get an opportunity to study 1 to whatever duration you like in India, and then transfer all your credits and do the remaining part in Canada at UCW. Now, our BBA is ACBSP accredited. Now, all the Ivy League and other colleges have this particular accreditation, which is Accreditation Council of Business School Program, which is one of the biggest accreditation which a business school can get. And UCW BBA program, BCom program already has it. Now, if students are interested in, for example, let's say accounting, they want to do a CFA, or they want to do a CPA, or they want to do chartered accountancy program in Canada, they can very much do it at UCW while doing their BCom program. So that's also one of the additional benefits that UCW is offering. Another thing, I think one of the major reasons why students go to Canada is global exposure, right? They want to get exposed to different culture. They want to meet people from all around the world. They want to have friends from all around the world at the end of the degree. And UCW is very, very diverse. We have nationality, more than 90 countries at our campus at one particular moment of time. So that's also one of the major benefits that student gets with studying at UCW. Another major breakthrough and major advantage to the students right now is that we are offering pathway to bursary program. We are offering 17,400 Canadian dollar bursary to each and every student who will study at UCW. I mean, imagine your 1-year tuition fee is waived off, is completely gone. So you start with maybe in India, you start with 1 year in India, and then you save on the living cost as well as your tuition fee while studying in India. Then you also save because of that bursary program. So that's a lot of saving for a bachelor's program. So it's very, very pocket friendly. I would really term it as a very, very positive pricing that we are offering to the student. And the fact is that you will still be studying in downtown Vancouver. You will still be studying in a university, not doing a diploma or maybe in a college, maybe which is located in the countryside, right? So these are the 100% very, very good benefit that UCW is offering for the students who are looking for a bachelor's program.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that you mentioned is with the bursary given to all of these learners, plus the money that they can save even up to 2 years while they study in India, which is they're supposed to pay us 2.5 lakhs for first year, supposed to pay us 1.5 lakhs for the second year. So in 4 lakhs, their entire first 2 years are done, they're 4 semesters. And in the last 2 semesters, according to the exact bursary figure that you mentioned, I think we can come down to at least less than 50% of the cost of the Canadian degree, while ensuring that they enjoy the downtown campus, they can leverage the networking, they can leverage on the post-study work visa for 3 years. One thing which I want you to address here is, in the Canadian job market, when they're done with the degree, they saved a lot of money, they enjoyed all the networking, they did all the internships. How are they looked at by an employer if they're doing a hybrid degree? When you sort of compare these learners to somebody who's done the degree at your campus from year one, how are they looked at? Is there any difference, Dipanch?
No, I don't think the difference is more like a mental block. Like if you're already coming with a mental block of, okay, you have done 2 years in India, and students who are doing like from the beginning at UCW have more of a strategic advantage. But that's not the case, to be honest. I think 2 years, even if you do 2 years at in India and 2 years in UCW, you still have ample of time to create that network. You still have ample of time to understand the culture. You still have ample of time to understand the environment, job environment there. And I think UCW has got one of the best career service team in Canada. I think they're very, very student friendly. And on day one itself, they will ask you questions like, what kind of career you want? Where do you want to work? Which industry you want to work in? And what will they do for you is they will map out all the skills that are required for that particular job. And then you will work on those particular skills.
Right. I think that does make a lot of sense. And I think one thing which I genuinely want to know from you after hearing you out is, how many internships or vocational experiences does the student actually get in the last 2 or 3 years?
I think there is one mandatory internship. There is one mandatory internship that student has to do, which is of around duration of 3 to 4 months. But one thing a student can do is student can work part-time. You are allowed to work 20 hours per week. And most of the students are able to afford their living expenses by working part-time. That's the beauty of Canadian education. So student can work part-time, they will gain that experience as well, plus including that mandatory internship that student will have to do. Combine both, you already have the work experience to showcase it to a potential employer. So that's one of the very good benefit that Canadian education system actually offers to the student. Moreover, I'll also touch upon, there is break, right? There is summer break, there is winter break, and you're more than welcome to work full-time on those breaks. You can go to a particular internship, or you can take help of career service team. They will help you get the foot on the door, help you get an interview, and that will eventually help you grab that job in a longer run. And again, coming back to the location, downtown Vancouver, there's ample of job opportunities available, because in the same building like Vancouver House, where UCW is located, there's so many big global companies that are situated there, and our alumni, they're working in Amazon, they're working in Apple, they're working in Deloitte, all the global companies they're working in. So we also have got a really good alumni database that a student can access and take help from and get a job eventually.
Wonderful. I think that should be a sign of relief for all of them, that the university not only ensures that the degree is affordable, but with upGrad, we're also trying to ensure that once they reach there, they get as much help, or they can extract as much value out of your team to ensure that they get placed in a good internship and get all the necessary industrial exposure. So one thing that University Canada West is largely known for across the world is its MBA program, which is often labeled as the best value or the most valuable ROI on any MBA program in Canada, is often linked to University Canada West. So a lot of attendees here want to know about your MBA program, Dipanch.
100%. I think if I was young enough, I would have done MBA program myself at UCW, just because of the return on investment. Because we know, I mean, it's a matter of fact that because of the COVID situation has changed, job dynamics have changed. So students really have to take a calculated decision, the amount they are investing in education versus the return they are getting. And I'm very proud to say that UCW has best return on investment. And why? Because UCW MBA is 2 years, which can be completed in 1.5 years. That allows you a post-study work permit up to 3 years. It has 100% placement rate. 100% of the student find job within 6 months after graduation. And the cost of the program is 35,000 Canadian dollar, which is around, let's say 20 to 23 lakhs. In 20 to 23 lakhs, the complete MBA program. Moreover, what we are doing is we are giving academic excellence scholarship. If a student has 80% and above marks, they get scholarship up to 6,000 Canadian dollar. So if a student ideally have 75% above or 80% above, they get some scholarship as well. The cost come down to around 20 lakhs. Now MBA in 20 lakhs in downtown Vancouver with 100% placement rate, with a post-study work permit up to 3 years is really, really a very, very good deal for the students. Moreover, just speaking more about the value that we are giving through the MBA program, we have skill certification. So we have recently partnered with DMI, Digital Marketing Institute, based out of Dublin, Ireland, which is a renowned agency that helps with the digital marketing arena. So if you do an MBA with UCW, you get a DMI certified. Now, we also have introduced elective cluster. Now, if you want to do in a business analytics, like all my engineering folks out there, if they want to do MBA with business analytics, we have that option. You can choose business analytics as one of the elective cluster. You can also choose HR. You can also choose management. You can also choose management consulting. So there are a wide range of options and opportunity for the student, the way they want to shape the career. And the best part, you do not need to choose this in the beginning. You go there, you study for one term, and then you choose what electives you want to choose, or then you decide, okay, which way do you want to go? And our career service team, our professors will be out there helping you out with each and every step. As a matter of fact, all of our faculty members have 15 plus years of experience. Most of them are PhD holders. Most of them have their own venture which is running. So they know what's happening in the outside market. They know how the program can be more and more relevant to the student. So they are job ready. So these are one of the very, very good features that MBA at UCW offers. And to top it all, I know students get scared that they want to give a GMAT or they need to necessarily have a work experience. No work experience required necessarily, and no GMAT required. Straight from the BCom pass out or BTech pass out, you can do an MBA with UCW. The only catch is students who do not have GMAT or who do not have a work experience, they will have to do a 3 months of MBA foundation program. And they can also do it online with upGrad, something very exciting that is planned for the future. And they can get a waive off on the MBA foundation and then straight away get admission to UCW MBA. So 100%, I mean, Vancouver City, downtown location, 100% placement, post-study work permit up to 3 years, wide range of electives, and the cost 20 lakhs. I mean, if you get a scholarship, 21 lakhs is a really, really good deal for the students.
Sure, I think just to reaffirm what Dipanch just mentioned is that the MBA program is valid for anybody, even if you do not have a GMAT score. If your BCom or your any of your bachelor degrees is less than 4 years, you can do a simple MBA foundation course, which upGrad is going to pair up with UCW shortly hereafter and facilitate the admissions directly for you to UCW. So there's an expedited, accelerated path to do MBA. And Dipanch mentioned there's 100% placement rate in 6 months for an MBA program done from UCW. Yes, of course, you will need IELTS. IELTS is a basic requirement that you need anyway to get your student visas approved. Dipanch can throw more light on how much score would you exactly need. So
100%. So I'll be very clear with the requirement. So there are two kinds of requirement. One is academic and one is English requirement. Speaking about the academic requirement, all 3 years bachelor degree is acceptable. The university has to be NARIC recognized. That's the only requirement. And student must have 60% and above overall. There's no particular subject requirement. So you might be BTech, B Pharma, or maybe you are MBBS. You can do an MBA with UCW, no problem at all. So that's a basic academic requirement. The only catch is if you have already done an MBA, MCOM, or MA in economics, they cannot apply because you already have studied that, and it's difficult to convince the embassy as well because you have already done that particular education. So that's straightforward academic requirement. And study gap can be, I mean, we have student 48 years old as well. So there's no limit to a study gap. The only thing is you need to have a valid work experience after your graduation to justify that particular study gap. That's academic requirement. And the second is English requirement. IELTS, Duolingo, PT, TOEFL. We do accept all types of tests. I'll just give you the requirement of the most famous, which is IELTS. It's 6.5 overall with 6 in writing. That's the requirement. No band less than 5.5. If you have 6.5, not less than 6, then 100% you are eligible to apply for MBA. To top it all, we are giving application fee waiver for the entire 2022 intakes. We have about 4 intakes. We have Jan, April, July, October, and there's no application fee.
Right. So can you just repeat once, in which cases is the MBA Foundation going to help them accelerate their admission into the MBA at University Canada West, Dipanch?
100%. So I'll give you 3 criteria that we have that gives MBA Foundation waiver. And the fourth one that we are cooking with upGrad. Now, the first criteria is GMAT. If you have already given GMAT and you have 550 and above, no MBA Foundation, the 3 months foundation that we are giving. The second one is if you have done a BBA or BCom and you have 72% and above in BBA and BCom, no MBA Foundation. And the third one is if you have 3 years of managerial work experience, which will depend on admission committee's review. It has to meet certain criteria. If it meets certain criteria, then if either of one of these 3 conditions you satisfy, you get MBA Foundation waiver and you get direct admission into the MBA program. But for the folks, like MBA Foundation should not be a deal breaker. I mean, historically, we have seen students who have done MBA Foundation have done really good at MBA because their basics were right. MBA Foundation is given to the students who do not have a business background. They need to understand like principles of accounting, principle of marketing, principle of entrepreneurship, right? So that they are able to do justice to the MBA program. They are able to score really well. And it's just 3 months. And 3 months, that too, I mean, if you combine both MBA and MBA Foundation, you are not extending your degree. You are still able to complete within 2 years because MBA can be fast tracked to 1.5 years. So the total amount you are spending is maybe 20 months, not more than 20 months, including MBA Foundation. So MBA Foundation should not be a deal breaker, but these are the criteria if you want to get an MBA Foundation waiver.
So regardless which bachelor's has a learner pursued, regardless if they've not appeared for GMAT, regardless if they scored less than 72% in their bachelor's, and regardless if they do not have any work experience whatsoever, they can do the MBA Foundation for 3 months and can directly enter into the UCW MBA program. Yes?
Yes, 100%. And it's a combined program. The offer letter that will come out will have both MBA Foundation plus MBA program. It's not like a separate program. We are giving both the programs together.
Right. So Dipanch mentioned 20 to 23 lakhs is the average cost of an MBA from UCW. The foundation course pricing is yet to be launched. We will keep you posted on that. I'm not sure if Dipanch and I can comment on it as of now, but we will soon launch it up and we will let you know, and we will do another webinar for it. Dipanch, meanwhile, want all the learners to know that what all majors are we offering? What electives are we, what electives do we have at University Canada West for somebody who's pursuing their bachelor's?
Okay. The student who are pursuing their bachelor's, we have 2 specializations. One is accounting. Student can do a specialization in accounting, and the second is business communication. So these are the 2 specializations that we are offering currently in our BCom program. We have another UG program, a bachelor's program, which is Bachelor of Arts in Business Communication, which is for the media and communication if the students are interested. That is also 4 years that can be completed in 2.5 years or 2.8 years. What I mean by expedited, like what I mean by fast tracking is UCW allows students to accelerate or de-accelerate their degree at their own pace. So if you're someone who is very quick to grab and who thinks he is very smart and able to do it early, well, be my guest, do it early. But if you want to spend 4 years and do it, that also, I mean, it depends on students to students. So we are giving that opportunity to the student. Now, the accounting one specifically has very, very high placement rates, and a lot of big companies that comes down to UCW hires. We are organizing job fairs as well from time to time, where different companies come and interview students at the spot. Sorry, why I'm focusing so much on the career, I know one of the outcomes that after studying has to be the career. And student seems the education was worth it if they are able to get a good job or the desired outcome of that particular education. And that's why there's a lot of focus, and that's why we provide skill certification. I mean, we have partnered with different institutes that makes you job ready. I mean, that's why we map out all your skills well in advance and let you know, okay, these are the skills that are required for this particular job. So once you graduate, you are ready for it and you're ready to grab that opportunity.
Absolutely. I think also want the learners to know here that when you study your bachelor's, your BCom program with upGrad and UCW, one, you're spending less than 25 lakhs on all 4 years combined as per your academic fee, less than 25 lakhs, almost 1/3 of what it actually costs to study in Canada. But also, I think, like Dipanch mentioned, you get a 3-year work visa as a normal student. Number 3, I think we'd also ask Dipanch how much is the average salary like. But number 4, Dipanch mentioned that he has some of the biggest corporates coming into the UCW campus to hire in his career services support team, ensuring that all the learners, all the students enrolled in UCW are well equipped with the necessary vocational skill set that they need to be good or to champion a specific job. So, Dipanch, at this point, I want to know how much is an average salary of a UCW graduate after they're done with the BCom program, which is one. Second, I just want the learners to assess the return on investment, that if they're spending close to 20 to 25 lakhs on all 4 years of a degree with UCW and upGrad, how much is the average salary like in the first year?
Of course. So salary would really depend on which company is hiring you. And it will also depend on your negotiation power, how you are able to negotiate, which obviously our career service team will advise you. But I think the average package could be some starting from around 60,000 Canadian dollar annually. It can start from 60,000 Canadian dollar. It can be like 80,000, 90,000 Canadian dollar once you graduate with UCW. That's a bit of an average, but I would again say that it depends on the company that is hiring you, and it depends on your negotiation skills that you are able to showcase and able to negotiate your salary up to. That's one of the things. And the second question, to answer your second question, I would want to go back a little. I would want to make students understand why undergraduate degree, why going for a bachelor's makes more sense than going for a master's program. Now, let's say you do bachelor's at what age? Like you start your bachelor's at 18, 19 years old. That's the one of the best age that your adapting power is maximum. You're able to adapt into a new culture. You're able to learn really fast. You're able to get into that particular atmosphere, right? That we are providing, or a new education system or a new country. That's one of the best age to go abroad. And so 100% your adaptability becomes really maximum. If you go for master, like I'm not disregarding the students who will go for master, but I'm just comparing that if you go for master, you go for 1 year or 2 years, right? If you go for a bachelor's, you go for 3 or 4 years. So obviously you're getting more time to submerge into that culture, to understand the job market there, to able to find a job, to able to adapt, to able to learn different culture, to able to learn a new language maybe. I mean, Canada is famous for French, right? So to able to learn a new language. So 100% your adaptability powers are maximum at that particular age. So I would really recommend, if you get an opportunity, yeah, 100% upgrad, you get a very good opportunity to do it in 25 lakhs or less than 25 lakhs, depending on your grades, depending on how much scholarship you get, right? So this is one of the opportunity. And one of the parents' hesitation is they don't want to send such at a young age. Their hesitation is removed as well. You're studying 1 year in India and then moving abroad. So that's the hesitation. It's also easy for you to convince your parents. But yeah, feel free to take my help to convince them. I don't mind.
Sure. I think to add on to what you're saying, I think here in our team, we've always envisioned and sort of highly focused on the accessibility of a Canadian degree, on the accessibility of a global education ecosystem for an Indian student. And I think one of the biggest points for us has been, how do we ensure that the parents and the child can collectively ease into the academic rigor and make themselves fully aware that this is how a Canadian education is going to look like while they're in India, whether on campus or online. They can take up that degree in full swing, work alongside. We give so also want all the learners to know that while you're pursuing the year one of UCW BCom degree, you can also intern alongside. You can also work alongside, which Dipanch will agree with me on, will expedite or accelerate your chances of getting into some of the best internships in Vancouver or BC, because you've already experienced some amount of work in India, as well as you were finishing your semester 1 or semester 2. The other thing is that we've always tried to ensure that your Indian experience is complemented by other UCW programs that they offer at campus. So we regularly keep introducing you to the faculty at University Canada West. We regularly keep engaging you with things that University Canada West would want to do in terms of how much vocational or industrial exposure you can have. So keeping in mind that not only is the cost extremely brought down to a factor of, let's say, 5 or 6, 1/6 the cost, but also ensuring that your experience is more global. You are local, but it is globalized in every other aspect, right? So that's what we've broadly looked at. Also want everybody to know that to add to the accessibility of a degree of UCW BCom degree, we've brought down the admissions criteria that you can be of any stream in school. You have to have at least 50% marks to enter into a program. And with those 50% marks, if you score well enough, you get into the semester 3 or semester 5, depending on how ready are you for transitioning to the campus. So also want to inform all the learners, Dipanch, that if they're still at the end of year 1, feel that they're still not ready, their folks at home feel they're still not ready, they can take another 1 year and ease into that whole rigorous setup so that they can then transition into the UCW campus. So, but please keep in mind that for 3 years of work visa, you have to complete at least 50% of your degree duration at the UCW campus. With that, Dipanch, I'm just going to open to the attendees and their specific questions, right? The first one, Dipanch, is what are the eligibility requirements for your MBA? You have cleared it. So either you need a proper, do you mind sort of reaffirming how much of the
course
would be?
Yeah. So there are like 2 requirements: English requirement and academic requirement. Academic requirement, very simple. You should have a bachelor degree, which is NARIC recognized. 3 years bachelor degree is acceptable. You need to have 60% and above in your bachelor's overall aggregate. And you need to have cleared your degree at the time of application. So you can have backlogs, but you need to have cleared it at the time of application. The second, English requirement, 6.5 overall with 6 in writing. We do accept TOEFL, we do accept PT, we also accept Duolingo. Duolingo, we accept around 110 for a direct entry into the program. So that's pretty much the requirement.
Right, and in case you've got a gap year, you have to sort of ensure that you were either working or that you have some either extra say diploma or extra certification or any other way to prove that you were actually substantively using that gap period. If you don't have a GMAT score, if you've not got 70% in your bachelor's, if you have not had any work experience, you can also do the MBA foundation course like Dipanch mentioned. upGrad and UCW are soon going to launch an MBA foundation course that you can then use to expedite your entry into the MBA program at UCW. I'm not sure how many of you are new joinees here, but if you are, an MBA with UCW is largely going to cost somewhere between 20 to 23 lakhs of rupees for both years, Dipanch, yes?
Yeah, correct. Both years. Complete MBA.
Right. Dipanch, is there any age limitation for enrolling
No age limit.
MBA? No.
No age limit.
Right. So somebody wants to know, when will this program be launched? So Dipanch's team and our team are working on it and will be launched very, very, very soon. As soon as it's launched, we'll do another webinar with Dipanch and ensure that we give you all the highlights of the program, the MBA Foundation program. Somebody wants to know here that what are the other master's degree and programs that UCW offers? So I think you can take this moment to cover both bachelor's and the PG programs that UCW has to offer the branch.
Okay, so bachelor's program, we have three programs that we offer. One is Bachelor of Commerce, BCom, that we spoke at length about. We offer Bachelor of Art in Business Communication. And the third program, which is also quite a famous one, we offer Associate of Arts degree, which is like a half degree. It's a 2-year program. And students have an opportunity to choose focus areas. They can choose psychology, accounting, management, marketing. So if you do not want to spend 4 years, if you just want to spend 2 years and get a post-study work permit, then Associate of Arts degree can be the right choice for you. In terms of PG program, we only offer one MBA program. However, we do offer a lot of elective cluster in the MBA program. So if you're interested in HR, if you're interested in marketing, if you're interested in business analytics, so we do offer those programs inside the MBA degree. And as we know that MBA is like, in terms of like masters, is like a daddy of all the degrees that we, the master's degree that we do, because it has a lot of elements. And to be honest, like for the students who are looking for master in specific field, this is my personal opinion. I mean, is that when you go to a new country, you need to be flexible. If you do a master in particular niche, and if you don't find in that particular niche job, then there is very less flexibility to move around. But MBA is an overall development. You get exposed to different programs like accounting, marketing, entrepreneurship, and you really need to sometimes be flexible, especially when you're going to a new country. So that's why MBA is one of the best choices a student can make.
Absolutely. I think that should make them clear on whatever degrees they can pursue with UCW and why MBA should be on the top of that list. Also would want to know for these learners here that how many industrial experiences do they have during those 2 years in MBA?
We have business challenges, but we don't have an internship program, because that's why you're able to expedite the MBA program. Like you can complete a 2-year MBA within 18 months. And just because of the fact that we organize those business challenges, we invite different companies to come down to campus and talk to students directly. So students get that kind of exposure. And like I said previously as well, that most of our faculty members are PhD holders and they have more than 15 years of experience. They are also running their own company. So kind of they give you an exposure to what's happening in the outside market. What is the relevancy of a particular thing that you are doing? They're able to customize the education that becomes the most relevant in the current job scenario. So that's what additional help that we provide to the students, so they are job ready whenever they graduate from for the MBA.
What do you recommend, Dipanch, for somebody? So I'll take two scenarios here. A school graduate who's had certain gap year, right? So let's say about 2 to 3 years of gap after the schooling has been completed. And likewise, I think a graduate who's probably done BBA or BCom and now has about 2 to 3 years of gap without any work experience at all. What should they be doing to get
I
into
think
a bachelor's at University Canada West, and similarly for an MBA in University Canada West? Because on an everyday level, we get so many of these learners who gave up on their UG degrees in India after first year or second, but are now looking forward to start, fresh.
Praneeth, to be honest, it will depend on case to case, and case by case basis. We will review and we will provide admissions accordingly. But obviously, because of the COVID, we all understand 1 to 2 years. Like a lot of people lost their job, a lot of people lost their motivation to do their bachelor's program. Yeah, for them, 1 to 2 years is okay, still okay. But yeah, more than 2 years will be very difficult if you do not have any justification.
So University Canada West is okay with somebody who graduated school in 2019 but has been home for 2 years just because they wanted to get into a Canadian university, but have largely been unable to do so. So up to 2 years is acceptable. Yes.
Yeah, we will accept those applications. Correct.
And what do you recommend for somebody who's done their bachelor's and now has about 2 or 3 years of gap experience? What should they ideally do prior to their application into your MBA program?
Who have 2 to 3 years of gap,
Gap experience?
like they haven't done any they don't
Yes.
have work experience, right?
Correct.
It will again depend on case to case basis, but 2 years is still, I think, something
Doable.
that can be justified. But more than 2 years, it will be difficult to justify. As a matter of fact, as a requirement, like the required document, we require CV, a detailed CV for the MBA. We don't require CV for the bachelor's program, but for the MBA program, we do require CV. And so it has to be, if 1 or 2 years, I think, still case by case basis, we can review and give admissions.
So,
But more than 2 years, they necessarily need to have something of the sort for sure that they were doing. They need to explain.
got that. I think largely the questions are good. There was somebody who said, can someone get into MBA who has less than 60%? Yes, Dipanch has mentioned that. You can. It's just that you have to undergo the foundation course, the MBA foundation course. I think I'd also pass it on to Dipanch. So Dipanch, somebody who has less than 60%.
Yeah, just a correction. Somebody who has less than 60% is not eligible to apply at all. That's what I'm trying to say. The MBA foundation waiver is applicable to the students who have done BBA and BCom with 72% and above. Now, coming back to this question, if they have 60% below, like if you have around 55% and above, you can still apply, take chance, and you still may get admissions, but I cannot guarantee. But case by case basis, if you're 52, 54 and above percentage overall, you can still apply and see if you get admission or not. One of the best part is we do not have application fee, right? So 100% you can apply and take your chances. Our turnaround time is a week. Within 7 working days, you will get to know whether you are accepted or not.
Right. So to reaffirm what you're saying is somebody who's not even gotten close to about, let's say, so somebody who's not had 60% marks, they ideally cannot apply to an MBA program with University Canada West. Yes, but
They may get rejected.
They may get rejected. But certainly somebody less than 55 have negligible.
Yeah, zero chance.
Chances of getting into UCW. Then the foundation course only makes sense for those who've gotten less than 72%.
BBA, BCom, and it makes sense for the students who do not have a business background. They have done a BTech, right?
Right.
And no GMAT, no work experience. For them, it makes sense to understand the rigor of the course or to understand the basic principles before they get into an MBA program.
Got that. So BBA, BCom is 72%, but any other degree, for them, the foundation course would make a lot more sense. Yes?
Yeah.
So somebody say BTech with 65% would be good?
Eligible. Yeah, would be good.
65% good, right? So
yeah,
we
please feel free to send your documents to upGrad and we are open. We are open for business. We are open for January intake. You can still
You
get
can
it.
definitely send us your documents. We also now look at your direct admissions to University Canada West. Would definitely expedite, accelerate that. You can reach out to Dipanch, you can reach out to me. We can definitely assist you in making sure that you get into your MBA programs at UCW. Uh, I mean, a couple of learners want to know about the MBA scholarships. I think you have mentioned it already. If you don't mind, can we go through it again, Dipanch? The MBA
100%.
that UCW offers.
So we are offering academic excellence scholarship. You do not need to apply separately. It will come with the offer letter. So if you have around CGPA of 3.6 and above, which will be obviously most of the students in India have percentage. So percentage, if I have to speak, if you have 75% and above, you will get the maximum scholarship that we are giving, 6,000 Canadian dollar, 6,000 Canadian dollar discount that you will get. But so it will depend on the percentage. Like if you have less percentage, you will get less scholarship. If you have around 65, 68 percentage, you might only get 2,000 or 3,000 Canadian dollar as a discount. So this is the scholarship that we are offering, which is academic excellence, depending on your grades. More the grade, the more the scholarship, and the maximum amount that we are offering is 6,000 Canadian dollar.
Right, Dipanch. Also, some of the attendees they won't know about the exact living costs in Canada. I think sometimes when we calculate or sort of see if any investment being made is worth it or not, I think we would like to keep into perspective the actual overall cost of studying somewhere. I think so, which is why we want to know the living costs in Canada.
Yeah, of course. So the
On
living cost, if I have to speak annually, like on a year-to-year basis, is around 7 to 8 lakhs. You also have to bear in mind you will be studying in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, which is one of the most expensive area. But the good thing is you do not need to be scared. More the expensive area, the more the salary is. Like of course, like if you are in India, if you do a job in Chandigarh and if you versus you do a job in Mumbai, of course there is a very big difference in the terms of salary that you get. So the salaries are also high, the wages are also high, the part-time job opportunities are also high. But on an average, you can take 7 to 8 lakhs a year annually. That's the cost, living cost. It includes accommodation and the food and books and stuff.
Absolutely, I get that part. So I think on an average, we're talking about 20 to 23 lakhs plus additional 7 to 8 lakhs every year. Dipanch, yes?
Yeah, correct.
Right. So also, I think one of the things that I'd like to highlight in specific is while you are doing the bachelor's for 2 years, up to 2 years when you're with upgrad, there is no living cost. So you not only save on almost 70% of your academic fee instead of 10 to 12 lakhs, you're just paying 2 lakhs on an average. But you're also saving about 8 lakhs of the living costs in the first 2 years. The
Uh,
last 2 years,
just a one point, a lot of students are asking, they do not need to be scared of the living cost because like mentioned earlier, you're allowed to work part-time 20 hours per week, right? So you can obviously afford maybe the food through your working part-time or the living expenses through working part-time. So a part of it, if you're working part-time, can be taken care of by working part-time in Canada.
absolutely. I think to reaffirm what Dipanch had mentioned earlier, 20 hours a week when you're pursuing your studies on campus, when you're on a break, then 40 hours a week. Dipanch, what exactly will be the minimum wages per hour for a student in Canada?
I think the minimum wage as per the government regulation is around 14 to 15 Canadian dollar per hour. But on an average, student can earn around 25 to 30 Canadian dollar per hour easily.
Right. So, which means almost 300 CAD per week is what you're earning. And so 300 into 52, although you can work 40 hours a week during your break. And how long would the break be, Dipanch?
The break would be, it depends. For example, we have four intakes, right? Sometimes student takes semester break and they start later on. But if you want to expedite, obviously you will take 4 sessions in 1 year. If you want to complete like, let's say 4-year program in 2.5 years, so the break would be somewhere around 2.5 months, depending on you.
So which means in those weeks when you're on a break, then there's 600 CAD that sort of that you're able to make. Let me run a quick mathematical figure here, Dipanch. So 52 weeks, they work 20 hours a week in a year, and they're making almost 15 CAD per hour that they're spending, right? So I think largely you and I are on the same page that living costs can be managed easily, right?
Yeah, I won't say very easily, but yeah, I would say, of course, some part of it for sure you can manage. Some part of it for sure.
Does University Canada West also assist them in on-campus part-time jobs, Dipanch?
Yeah, we do. Actually, we have opportunities like being a peer leader, being in the academic advisor team, being a student ambassador, right? Student ambassador opportunities. So obviously, you will get such kind of opportunities on campus. But it's up to you, right? We provide you all the tools, we provide you a platform, we provide you all the resources. But how you utilize it is depends on the student.
So meaning thereby that a lot of these things are dependent individually
As well.
on how they look at work, which sort of
Yeah.
part-time work do they look at, um, in what standards are they living, and how
Yeah.
are they trying to manage the expenses, and what I mean. At the end of the day, they also have to manage the academics plus the work, right?
Yeah.
Also, I think the last thing that I want to know from you is how many hours do they study on campus per week? And we already know that 20 hours a week they can work, but how many hours every day do they have to report at the campus and study bunch?
More than hours, I would say number of days. So on an average, they need to report around 4 days a week. And it depends on the classes. It depends on the electives that they've chosen, like how many days they come to the campus. But yeah, I mean, on an average, they come to campus 4 days a week.
4 days a week is when they have to report on the campus. Yes, the bunch.
Yes, but it depends obviously at what semester you are in, how far you are with your degree, what kind of electives you have chosen. So it might be 3 days as well. It might be, but on an average, 4 days a week.
Also to repeat, I'm not sure how many of you heard him. Dipanch also mentioned during uh, the first half of the space that any engineering graduate, any engineering student can also transition smoothly into the MBA because of the wide spectrum of electives that the UCW MBA has to offer. You can always visit the UCW website to know more about the spectrum of electives that they offer. But Dipanch mentioned that you may be from any stream and yet the MBA will prove fruitful if you want to build a career in Canada. And I think the last bit, Dipanch, is for the visa, they have to show 1 year of living costs, right? That they
Yeah.
should.
So I'll just explain. GIC, Guaranteed Investment Certificate, that they have to create, which upGrad will obviously help you out. That is 10,200 Canadian dollars, so around 6 lakhs. So they will get this money back in installments. So this is just to make sure that your living expenses for the first year are at least covered.
Right. Apart from that, they have to pay you one semester's fee in advance before they apply for visa, right?
Mhm. So Praneeth, there are two kinds of visa category: SDS and non-SDS. SDS, student direct stream. Obviously, if they apply as under SDS category, they have to pay 1 year fee to us, and the visa turnaround time is better. The visa chances are better if they pay 1 year fees. But of course, we will issue letter of acceptance, which is used in the visa even on one semester fee.
Absolutely. So I think largely we've been able to address all the questions. I have given my email address in the chat box. I will do that again. Dipanch, you've been a great help. It has been amazing hosting you. And I am super sure that we could address as many questions for these attendees as we possibly could. There was so much to share, so I'm not sure if we could actually address all of them. But I think largely the two key takeaways are the UCW MBA program and why it has the best return on investment in the entire, uh, you know, spectrum of where you can choose to study MBA in Canada, 20 to 23 lakhs and 100% placement that UCW assures you of with the campus in downtown Vancouver. And the BBA program where you're spending all 4 years completing your degree in less than 25 lakhs and still managing to get the 3 years of post-study work visa and every other opportunity that would largely be available to any student studying on campus, spending about 75 lakhs of rupees for all 4 years. So I think it's been a great space. I'm sure all of these learners have taken back the key points that they were here to listen to. You can always reach out to me. I will connect you to Dipanch and we'll make sure that all your queries are addressed by Dipanch's team. And Dipanch, I'd like to thank you very much. And hopefully we will, soon convene the space as soon as we launch the MBA Foundation course.
100%. Thank you so much, Praneeth. It's a pleasure to be here. And I look forward to many more sessions. And I look forward to addressing student question. I think student counseling is my passion. And this is what I do for a living.
Thank you very much. Wishing all of you good luck and you have a great weekend ahead.